I'm with Ray Goodwin and we're driving north through the English Lake District to paddle the River Greta, which runs down to Keswick. Also with us is my friend and colleague Paul Nichols, known as Spoons. What you got there, Spoons?
I've got some red campion in my hat.
That's lovely.
And as you can see, they lean back for go fast as well, so less wind resistance, because when I'm bombing down there overtaking Ray.
And one on each side for balance as well.
Oh, the balance, of course. Obviously, it'd be silly to have one just on one side.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Set, ready to go.
Awesome. Ray's still firtling.
It's either a very, very impressive nest of a very, very impressive bird, but in fact it's flood debris.
Flood debris.
And I presume from the big flood that damaged all the bridges and changed the rapids.
From Storm Desmond.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Thank goodness they've replaced the road across the lakes now. And as I was saying to Spoons, should we have an absolutely amazing downpour, Spoons, and the river starts going to that level, just wave goodbye, because I'll be well up the bank by then. Yeah?
Sure you will.
Okay.
Good. Ready? I was born ready, was you?
Hand signals, Ray? Yeah. For Spoons' benefit?
Hand signals. About to give you some bullshit.
Yeah.
What the hell's happening?
Just go for it.
Oh, it's all going wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm always going to point where I want you to go.
Yep.
If I want you to come to me, I'll do my head. If I do that, get into that eddy.
Yep.
But I think as well, that'd be one person go, both of you go, or get a move on.
Yep.
But one person go, stop, hand below my head or paddle across.
Yep.
But we will always point where we want somebody. That's the key.
Yep.
But I think on this river, you have to be pretty independent. If you see me or Paul in front slowing down, really, can you slow down? Can you hit an eddy? You don't want to be right on top of us, and you don't want to be past us.
Yep.
If you go past us and we wave, that will be interesting.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Best of British.
Okay, do you want to get back in my boat then, young Spoons? Petal?
Ready?
Yeah. Pink one in the boat.
Big pink ones in the water.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right, next boat.
You got the back, Spoons?
Got the back.
Okay.
Now, if anybody's interested, this is a very special Kevlar hat to protect my head.
That's it.
Particularly when I've got my helmet.
Excellent.
I left it back down in Wales. Should any of the rapids get interesting, Paul's going to run them first, walk back up with his helmet, and then I'll do it with my helmet, with his helmet. But just in case you're wondering why I've got a helmet, it's because I did something stupid.
Off he goes.
Switch on, Kirtley.
Starting on the Greta up near the village of Threlkeld, where the A66 crosses the river, and here you can see the modern road bridge ahead of me. It's a relatively gentle stream. It's a nice spot to start paddling. But we knew that following Storm Desmond in December 2015, which caused severe flooding in this part of the Lake District and damage to various bridges crossing the Greta, that we would have to be careful. In particular, there are a number of railway bridges from the old Cockermouth, Keswick and Penrith Railway dating back to the 1860s, which crisscross this river as the line goes out towards the coast. And before long, we came to the first of these bridges. Now, we knew that two of them had been washed away, but others had been damaged, and the advice was to be extremely careful around the bridges, particularly those with structural damage. As with any day on a river, however, you have to make a dynamic risk assessment. There can always be changes. However well you know a river, there can always be changes since you last paddled it. There can be trees in the river, banks can have collapsed, things can be overhanging. You have to make an assessment. And so it was that the bridges would form part of this assessment. Now, today the water level was relatively low and the ongoing effect on any bridges was likely to be negligible, whereas at higher water levels there may be a increased risk of changes to the structural components of those bridges at the time that you're on the river. But this is not really a river that we'd want to be paddling in canoe at significantly higher water levels. It is a very rocky stream. Indeed, the name Greta comes from an Old Norse word meaning stony stream, and we were going to find out where this river got its name from very shortly. At this point though, it was a pleasant paddle. It's a steep-sided, very green, lovely paddle down through here, but before too long we were going to come across the first of the obstacles that we would encounter this morning of paddling. After some easy grade 1 paddling, before too long we came upon the second railway bridge, and this one showed some structural damage. Notice the support structure on the left of the bridge as I'm approaching here, and how the bank and that stonework has been eroded and damaged. Just goes to show the sheer power of the water that was flowing through here 6 or 7 months ago after Storm Desmond. The third bridge was still up as well, but again it had visible damage on the support structure, particularly here on the left, and we certainly didn't want to be lingering under these bridges.
Wow. Yeah.
This bridge had been dropped and then swung at least 60 degrees by the flow of water. It's just absolutely incredible. Also, with more water coming into the river, the flow was increasing and the paddling was about to get a little more interesting.
to go pretty rocky. Just keep your bum low. It's not deep, just keep your bum low. Okay? Yeah. I think if we feed you through here, cool. You've got a nice pool. The biggest bit's at the bottom where Ray is, alright? Right. Off you go.
Here with faster flow and that flow going straight into a tree which was across the river, we resorted to lining down to the side, and then we would carry the boat across the beach next to the obstruction, thus saving any risk of getting entangled with that tree. Even at this level of flow, that can be a serious issue. Looking ahead, the next thing to be aware of for us was the fact that most of the flow of the river was pushing onto one bank, one rocky bank on the right hand side of the river. For those interested in grades, there are rapids up to grade 3 on this section of the Greta. That's class 3 for those that think in those terms. And even those that were less than that were really quite rocky and tricky at this level of water. Made for a really fun day out, and this was just the beginning of a series of rapids that required a bit more manoeuvring and a bit more precision with positioning of the boat, but that made it a really interesting section of river. After all, this section that we're paddling from Thrakeld down to Keswick is only 5 miles long, but it made for a really adventurous morning in open canoe, and it was about to get a lot more fun.
Yep. Very interesting. He's doing excellently well.
Do you want to crack on, Paul?
Sure. Spoons can come to here, alright? Spoons can come to here if he wants.
I wanted to make sure Spoons was in a safe spot, but somewhere where he could see me before heading down this section. Note the yellow signs on either side of the river. They're stating that there is some hazard ahead, and I didn't want to go barreling round the corner without making sure the people behind me were in a good position. Once I had sight that there was nothing immediately in the river, I was able to signal for them to follow. What there was below here, though, was another bridge that had been washed out. After the mangled remains of the old railway bridge on the riverbed, there was a little bit of respite before the next set of rapids and then another feature for us to negotiate.
You're going to line down the first bit, you say? You're lining down this bit?
Moving quickly and efficiently from paddling to lining and back again to paddling was clearly the order of the day, as well as keeping a keen eye ahead for obstacles and dangers.
Tree in the river. I can hear something else.
The Greta was definitely living up to the literal meaning of its name as a stony stream, and the steepness of this section was making it a lot of fun, despite the occasional mishap. This bridge is one that has been deemed still safe and sound and is still open to pedestrians and cyclists. I was more focused on the rocks, however. first to reach these rapids, I decided for a quick inspection, but Ray decided otherwise with some comedic results. Note the tree debris here on my right on the island in the middle of the river, and we were soon to be out the boat again, and this section of river was starting to feel a little bit like a canoeing assault course, in a good way, of course. In many places, the Greta feels like a secret passageway cut deep into the valley bottom, taking you quietly and clandestinely past farms and hamlets and campsites who don't notice your presence. We were now on the outskirts of Keswick, but we couldn't avoid one last little bit of lining. The Greta flows right down into and through Keswick before joining the Derwent river system, and in keeping with the stealthy clandestine nature that I felt higher up, again we were paddling right into the centre of town, hardly being noticed other than waving at the occasional dog walker in the park. And I always find it fascinating canoeing in a landscape because you see it from a completely different perspective. I'm very familiar with Keswick, but I've never paddled the Greta before, and it was a wholly different experience entering town by boat than entering town by car. This was pretty much the end point of a really fun adventure which I'd thoroughly enjoyed, but time to see what the others thought of their time on the Greta.
The independent decision making.
Independent. Try not to go down backwards, just really difficult.
That
possible, but difficult.
Being independent in decision making, really key.
Yeah.
So that you're looking at the people in front going, oh, they've slowed down.
Well, I did on that last one where you lined it.
Yeah.
I was looking already for that bit. And
starts happening.
Yeah.
And then you just paddle down it anyway.
He just paddled down it anyway. Sorry, Paul. I thought it was a bit shallower and I thought I was going to stop, but I didn't. It's like, shit, I can't stop now. It's good though.
So how did you enjoy it overall, Spoons?
That's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Scenery's good. Paddling's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, learned a lot. Yeah, oh god, yeah. Very shows you the power of water. Yeah. Definitely shows you the power of water. So that was brilliant fun. Absolutely brilliant fun. It seemed to go really quick. Yeah. As well. It does not seem like
it's not even noon yet.
An adventure.
Adventure.
I've never done the Greta before. And my mate said it was full of bridges in the river. He said there's lots of metal work in the river, there's trees in the river. And it was fun. We used all the skills, lining, getting stuck on rocks deliberately, being saved by Mr. Kirtley, not so deliberately. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Excellent. And all before lunch.
All before lunch. And I've still managed to save one of my flowers as well.
Both of them?
Well, yeah, that'll.
Oh, you lost the flower.
I lost the flower when I went for a tree.
So it's a one flower river.
It's a one flower river, that one.